This video is Relationships Part 1, What Doesn't Make a Good Relationship. There are so many stupid ideas about relationships, so many red flags that people ignore, and so many toxic things that people romanticize. I'm going to go through some things that make for bad relationships. Before doing so, let me explain that I do understand relationships very well, as I have been very happily married for over 38 years. No, I haven't been in a bad relationship, but I've seen plenty and knew what to watch out for, or I wouldn't have such a happy marriage. Now, on to 12 things that don't make for a good relationship. These are not in any particular order. 1. If a girl has to choose between two guys she loves, she doesn't love either of them. If you are really in love, no one else can compete. I had a college roommate who was stressed one day trying to figure out how to tell the other guy she was dating that she'd accepted another guy's proposal. That's not love. I'm not saying they can't make it work or develop real love, but that's not love. 2. Doing something stupid for love is stupid, not love. So many girls do stupid things for love. They run away, they cut off their families, they give up education and things they shouldn't. There are so many sacrifices that should not be made. A wise sacrifice is giving up something good for something better. If someone is so controlling or possessive that he wants you to give up your family so he's your whole world, that's not a good relationship. When someone wants you to give up family, that's not love. Of course, with the exception of a truly abusive family. 3. Bad boy syndrome is bad. Bad boys don't make good husbands and fathers. They may seem cool or hot, but they are just bad. The qualities that make good husbands are the same types of qualities that make good heroes, as dads and fathers are huge heroes. At least they should be. 4. If someone asks you to prove your love for them, that's not love. True love does not require proof. There is proof in the everyday treatment of each other. My husband doesn't like Valentine's Day. He says men at work all stress over it. So many women want expensive gifts or some proof of love, and he doesn't think he should have to prove his love on Valentine's Day. I agree. Every day he goes to work to support me and our children. He comes home and helps me. He is here for me and treats me like a princess. I could not have a better husband for me. He's amazing. I don't need him to prove his love on Valentine's Day, as he shows it every day. Love is shown, not proved. 5. Fighting is a huge red flag. I remember once talking to a friend of my daughter's who was engaged. She said that she and her fiancé fought a lot, but they always made up. I told her that my husband and I never fight. I'm not saying we agree on everything, we don't, but we can talk things out civilly. Fighting doesn't help. She didn't believe me and insisted all couples fight. They don't. My husband and I don't. Well, guess what? My marriage has lasted over 38 years. Hers didn't last 2. 6. Couples not being equally yoked. This will take a little explaining. Back in the days of ox carts, oxen were yoked together with a wooden yoke placed over both of their necks to keep them together. This way, one ox did not get ahead of the other or have to pull more of the load. If the oxen don't walk at the same rate or pull at the same rate, or if one stands still and the other moves, then the wagon goes in circles, not straight. The same concept applies in marriage. If one of the partners is doing everything while the other is doing nothing, that doesn't work. Both don't have to be equal in the same things or have the same skills. They do need to both work equally hard to have a successful marriage, to raise the children, to make the house a home, and to bring about their goals for their family. They need to share values and want the same things for their family. If one wants children and the other doesn't, that doesn't work well. I've seen divorces over that. If one does all the work while the other sits on the couch watching TV all day complaining that the other didn't do something, That doesn't work. Couples don't have to be the same, but they must be equal, each pulling weight, each taking responsibility, and each supporting the other. They need to work together like a good oxen team, not one stand in place while the other tries to do it all. Good couples work together to pull their load. I'm not implying that men and women are equally physically as strong. I am small and lightweight. I can't pull much physically as my husband can. In our house, my husband and sons do the heavy lifting. But I pull a great deal of weight by homeschooling, cooking, and many other things. If you are not equally yoked, if you can't move together to pull the figurative wagon, then the relationship will have problems. 7. Moral and religious differences. This red flag is a huge one, and right there should indicate that there is a 99% chance that the relationship will fail. The only way different religious beliefs can really coincide happily is if one or both aren't really that committed to their religion. Differences in morals are almost impossible to overcome. Different cultures can work together just fine by adapting different customs from each culture into the family traditions, but religious and moral issues are hard to overcome. Yes, there are exceptions where people make it work, but they are rare events outside of two standard deviations from the norm. My advice, if you have strong religious convictions, marry someone who shares them. Even if people share the same values and morals, but they are low, then the relationship will have problems. 8. He'll change once we are married. Never count on someone changing a habit once married, or thinking something annoying won't be annoying after marriage. It will likely be more annoying. Addictions don't stop just because someone gets married, even if they want to stop. How many girls have been caught in this trap? Fix issues before marriage. 9. Abuse. Kind of going along with the idea that things will magically get better after marriage, too many women, or men, as women can be abusive too, will put up with abuse in a relationship, often due to gaslighting or grooming. They think they deserve it, they can't do better, or it will change once they get married. If a relationship is abusive, don't get into it in the first place. If you do, get out of it. If you are in an abusive relationship, please get help. I do have to make a side note here. The word abuse has been watered down, which I think does a disservice to people who are really suffering abuse. Real abuse can be physical, sexual, or emotional. Unfortunately, many women claim emotional abuse if a guy hurts their feelings or doesn't understand their feelings. Guess what? They're guys. Men don't understand women, and often we don't understand them. That's called normal. Real emotional abuse happens when one partner is tearing the other down, telling them how worthless they are, calling them names, and saying things like they wish the person was dead. Unfortunately, that happens. That is abuse. Not understanding someone or accidentally hurting him is not. We all unintentionally hurt each other. It's part of life. But when we do, we should own up, apologize, and try to repair the damage we did. 10. Thinking that because we are in love, nothing else matters. So many girls foolishly think that the religious differences, the addictions, the sinful past, or some other red flag isn't important, that none of it matters because they are in love, and love conquers all. Love doesn't. I brought my girls up telling them love is easy. Marry someone you not only love, but trust and respect. Love does not conquer all, especially fleeting, obsessive love. There are different types of love. I won't go into them here, but do in my video on 8 different Greek words for love and what they mean. Generally, when people think they are in love and nothing else matters, they don't have deep love. They have obsessive love or infatuation. 11. Soap opera relationships. If a relationship is filled with drama, it's not likely to get better. If you are married to someone in a soap opera relationship, there is hope. It can get better, but it takes work. If you are in a soap opera relationship and not married, it may not be a healthy relationship. Don't write your characters with soap opera relationships and think they are good couples. Sure, if you want to put one in your book, do, but don't think it's a match made in heaven. My dad used to say, soap opera lives have soap opera endings, and it's true. Soap opera relationships don't lend themselves to happily ever afters. 12. Relationships that have criticism, contempt, stonewalling, or defensiveness are not healthy. Gottman describes these as the four horsemen of the apocalypse for relationships and signs that the relationship will fail. Look for my video on that. Since I'm doing a video on that, I won't go into it here. That is 12 things that don't make good relationships. If you want to write relationships that are strong and healthy for your hero and heroine, don't do these. Personally, I like to show good relationships and stories for my main couple as it sets an example and goal that people can take into life. I get really annoyed by relationships that are glamorized but are not healthy. They teach girls to do stupid things in the name of love. Obviously, relationship advice applies not just to stories but to life. People watching this video are at different stages in relationships. Some of you have never had one. Some of you may be dating someone. Some of you may be married and in a good relationship or in a bad one. If you are in a bad relationship, which has abuse, addiction, or adultery, please seek help. Otherwise, this is a list of things to be aware of when dating or things to work on in your marriage. I'm not trying to tell anyone their situation is hopeless. Christ can heal anything. Turn to Him for help if you need it. That wraps up what doesn't make good relationships. In the next part, I will discuss things that make for good relationships. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. What's a red flag you would warn people dating of?